So our next slides are regarding the Gregor Mendel. He is known as the father of genetics, classical genetics as well as the modern genetics. He developed the principles of heredity, and he did this by studying 7 pairs of inherited characters in pea plants. Although his work was not recognized in his lifetime, but it became the basis of the present day field of genetics. His approach was to conduct the hybridization using artificial pollination and cross pollination experiments for 7 years. And he proposed the laws of inheritance, law of segregation, and law of independent assortment. In law of segregation, he said that the characters are determined by different factors which are present in the form of pairs, but at the time of gamete formation, they segregate, the members of pairs segregate from each other to go into different gametes. And law of independent assortment was that the member of the pair, the two member of the pair, do not depend on each other while segregating. He applied statistical analysis and mathematical logic to the biological problems using large sampling size and greater credibility to the data. Uh, these experiments were involved through breeding pea lines, which were developed by continuous self-pollination, and he confirmed the inference from experiments on successive generations of test plants and proved general rules for the inheritance. Gregor Mendel investigated opposing traits, contrasting traits like tall and dwarf, yellow and green seed. So it was very interesting. So these are the 7 pairs which Gregor Mendel worked on. Tall, these are the dominant characteristics. If we talk about plant height, tall was dominant. Round in case of seed shape, seed color yellow, seed coat color green, pod shape inflated, pod color green, and flower position axial. So these 7 characters are the dominant characters, while recessive characters were short for tall, wrinkled for round, green for yellow, white for green, uh, constricted for inflated, yellow for green, pod color, and terminal for flower position. So there are different terminologies, basic terminologies, which we must know before going into the details of the Gregor Mendel experiments. For example, what is the phenotype? That is external appearance of an organism due to the influence of genes or genotype and environmental factors. The phenotype is the product of genotype and the environment. Genotype, that is a genetic basis or constitution of an individual responsible for a phenotype. Phenotypic ratio, the correct proportion of the phenotype in the population. Genotypic ratio, this is the correct proportion of the genotype in the population. Homozygous, the individual having identical genes or alleles in an allelic pair for a particular character. For example, capital T, small t, these are homozygous for the height, plant height character. Similarly, heterozygous are the individuals having unidentical genes in the allelic pair. For example, capital T, small t, that is heterozygous for the plant height. A dominant gene, the gene that expresses its character in heterozygous condition. So in this case, for example, in case of capital T, small t, the capital T is dominant because the plants appear tall in case of heterozygous genotype. A recessive one, the genes that fails to express its character in heterozygous condition, so small t will be the recessive one. Hybrid, the progeny obtained by crossing two parents that differ in characters. So these are called hybrids. What is back cross? Back cross is the cross between F1 hybrid and one of the parents. However, test cross is a cross between the hybrid and its homozygous recessive parent. It is used to identify the genotype of the hybrid. So, why Gregor Mendel selected pea plants? Because of pure varieties were available at that time for peas. Peas plants are easily to cultivate. Life cycle of the plants are only few months, so that resulted the results can be taken very early. Contrasting traits are observed. Flowers are bisexual and normally self-pollinated. Flowers can be cross-pollinated only manually. Hybrids are fertile. So these were different reasons due to which Gregor Mendel accidentally selected the pea plants. So inheritance of one gene can be this inheritance can be explained by monohybrid cross, the cross between two parents differing in one pair of contrasting characters is called monohybrid cross. Uh, this is generated by crossing tall and dwarf pea plants. Uh, so the first hybrid generation is called the F1 generation, that is called filial generation 1, F1. F1 plants, they are all tall because the tall character is dominant as compared to the dwarf. For other traits, also F1 generation resemble only one parent, and trait of the other parent was not shown due to dominance. Self-pollinated F1 led to the F2 generation. F2 generation, there were one-fourth dwarf and three-fourths of the plants were tall, identical to the parents. F1 generation one parent trait shown, and in F2 generation the phenotype of both parents was shown in the 3:1 ratio, and there was no blending. So here this can be seen. These are dwarf, these are tall, and in F1 you can see capital T, small t, because capital T is dominant and the tall character is dominant. You can see in F1 only the tall plants, but when we cross F1 and get F2, you can see both dwarf and the tall plant, but there is 3:1 ratio between tall to dwarf. That is the phenotypic ratio 3:1. But in case of genotypic ratio, you can see 1:1 ratio. So one is capital T, two are capital T, small t, and one is small t. So this is monohybrid cross for the plant height in peas. So Gregor Mendel proposed something is stably being passed to the next generations through the gametes, which he called factors, and afterwards those were recognized as genes. These factors also he termed as units of inheritance, contain the information required to express particular characters. Genes which code for pair of contrasting traits are called alleles, which I told you earlier. Alphabetical symbols were used, capital T and small t for dwarf, tall and dwarfs respectively. Plant pairs of alleles for height uh, could be in all possible combination for mono cross could be like this. Uh, and Gregor Mendel proposed true breeding tall and dwarf plants, identical or homozygous alleles, a pair of capital T or capital T or small t. These are genotypes, and the phenotype, the tall character or dwarf character, that is the phenotype. He found phenotype of heterozygous plants, capital T, small t, of F1 was the same as the parents with the capital T, and he proposed that in a pair of dissimilar factors, one dominates the other, hence called dominance and recessiveness. So this is the checkerboard which I told you earlier. This is 3:1 ratio for the phenotype and 1:1 ratio for the genotype. So this is again the same. That is also known as Punnett square. This checkerboard. So this is test cross. We cross the uh, dominant parent or parent with the uh, capital P with the heterozygous parent. So we can say, we can get 1:1 ratio in the test cross. So that was all about regarding the monohybrid cross of Gregor Mendel and Gregor Mendel inheritance rules. I hope you like this video. Thank you very much.